Hello everyone, welcome to free crash course on competitive exams held by VIRAT HINDUSTAN SANGHAM in association with Manifest IAS. So this program is inspired by Dr. SWAMY and it is being convened by Sri RAVISHANKAR sir, who is the state education convener for VIRAT HINDUSTAN SANGHAM and also president of Good Neighbors India NGO. So you can watch this program online on YouTube channel of VIRAT HINDUSTAN SANGHAM. Here is the link, and also on YouTube channel of UDAYA News Karnataka. So I am the mentor. I have had an experience of over 5 years in mentoring for various civil service aspirants. Okay, so here is the timetable and syllabus of your program. We have begin with polity. Polity will get over by tomorrow max. If not, I'll take one more hour clubbing it with history. So we are doing it with in association with Manifest IAS Bengaluru. This institute we are doing in association, this program in association with Manifest IAS and also with UDAYA News Karnataka. So here is the timetable. So you can join the Telegram channel of our forum by clicking this link or scanning this QR code. Okay. So what to expect out of these classes? I have been telling again and again. It can be used as a revision program for the senior aspirants, and freshers can use it to get a gist or hold of the syllabus and clearing of their critical concepts. Okay. So let us begin the class. Okay, today I am going to discuss union territories. So what is a union territory? That is the basic question, right? So Article 1, what does it speak about? Article 1 says that India is a union of states. So, union of states in which there are 3 types of territories. What are the 3 types? Territories of states, territory of states, state boundaries. Second is union territories, and the third is territories acquired by the government of India. These are the 3 categories. Okay. So, you know what is a state? State state forms a part of a federal system. So there is a division of power between center and the states. However, union territory is in complete control of which government? It is in complete control of union government, right? Okay. So these are also called as centrally administered territories. What are the examples? How many union territories we have today? We have 8 union territories. 8 union territories. So few of them, Dadra, Nagar Haveli, Daman, Diu, together they form 1 union territory. This was a change introduced in late 2019. So also we have Lakshadweep, Andaman and Nicobar. We have Puducherry. We have Chandigarh, and also National Capital Territory of Delhi. So these are few of the union territories. So creation of union territories, how union territories were created. So even during the British tenure, that is in the colonial times, there were certain territories that were directly administered by the British government. Okay. So these territories, after the independence, what did they form? They form, so at the enactment of constitution, there were 4 categories of states. So part A states, which were the provinces, part B states, which were princely states, part C states, and part D states. Okay. So part C states were consisting of union territories. Even part D state were consisting of union territories. Okay. So why do they create the union territories? What is the necessity? So now recently Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh were converted from statehood to union territories. What is the purpose? One is, so there are many reasons for political and administrative consideration. Political and administrative consideration, which are the 2 union territories, Delhi and Chandigarh. And cultural distinctiveness, the Puducherry, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, because they were ruled by whom? French. Puducherry was ruled by French. Cultural distinctiveness. And also strategic importance. Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, these are formed out of what? These are formed out of strategic consideration. Strategic consideration means security purpose. Okay. So recently, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh were formed. Okay. Administration of Union Territories. How administration of Union Territories is carried out. So the central government appoints a administrator or lieutenant governor or administrator. So which are the constitutional provisions? Constitutional provisions, part 8. Part 8, which article? Article 239 to 242 speaks about, article 239 to 242 speaks about administration of Union Territories. Okay, every Union Territory is administered by whom? It is in the name of President. President, in the name of President, the Union Territories are administered. This one fact you have to be clear. Okay, so administrator of Union Territory is an agent of President. So this President appoints various administrators. They are the agents. So just like how the governor is the agent of the central government at the state level, similarly administrators are the agents of President. They are the agents of President in the Union Territory. So these administrators are called by different names. What are the different names? They are called Lieutenant Governor or Chief Commissioner or Administrator in various names, in various territories. Okay. So in the states, what happens? The Parliament makes laws on state list, union list and concurrent list. State government forms laws on state list and concurrent list. However, in the case of Union Territories, Parliament makes laws on union list, concurrent list and state list. In all the three lists, Parliament makes the law. Okay, this is the difference between law making powers among the states as well as Union Territories. So, law making, is it all similar in all the Union Territories? No. The Delhi, Puducherry and which other state? Jammu and Kashmir have their own legislative assembly. They have their own legislative assembly. They form the laws with respect to state list. Their parliament also can form law. Even state legislature can also form law. Right? Okay. So here one condition is there. So the president can make rules. The president can make regulations for the peaceful conduct, peaceful day-to-day administration or good government in the Union Territories. Which are the Union Territories? Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu and Ladakh. In these 5 Union Territories, President can make regulations for the peaceful conduct of the day-to-day administration. Okay. Special provisions for Delhi. So here one more provision you have to remember. The Parliament can establish a High Court for a Union Territory. Presently, which are the states, which are the Union Territories that have High Courts? So two Union Territories, that is, one is Delhi has an High Court for itself and also Jammu and Kashmir has a High Court for itself. So special provisions for Delhi. What are the special provisions for Delhi? Okay, Delhi, when it comes to Delhi, you have to remember this article 239AA. So Delhi is designated as National Capital Territory of Delhi. So when was it designated? It was designated in 1991. The Constitution Amendment Act number is not important. However, the year is important. In the year 1991, Delhi was designated as National Capital Territory, NCT of Delhi. So this Union Territory has a special name. The name is NCT. And it is ruled by whom? It is ruled by Lieutenant Governor. So Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, there are Andaman and Nicobar has lieutenant governor. However, Lakshadweep, there is an administrator. The Diu and Daman, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, there is an administrator. In the case of Delhi also, it is lieutenant governor. Who is the present lieutenant governor? It is Anil Baijal, former home secretary, senior IAS officer. Okay. So, the Delhi has a legislative assembly. So, which are the three states which have legislative assembly? 3 union territories. It is Delhi, it is Jammu and Kashmir, and also the state of the union territory of Puducherry. So, what is the strength of Delhi legislative assembly? It is 70 members. It is fixed at 70 members. So, assembly can make laws. It can make laws in all subjects of the state list. However, all matters of the state list and concurrent list except 3 matters. So, this is the point of contention between the union government and Delhi state government, Delhi union territory government. Which are the 3 areas? Police, law and order, police, and land rights. Law and order, police, and land rights. So, these are the 3 areas where the parliament alone can make a law. The state legislature cannot make a law. So, okay, the strength of Delhi as a council of ministers, because it has an assembly. By the provision of responsible government, it has a executive government. Along with legislative assembly, there is a executive government. What is this executive government? What is the strength? The strength is fixed at 10% of legislative assembly. So I told legislative assembly has 70 members. So 10% means 7 members. Delhi has 7 ministers. So, the Council of Ministers will aid and advise the Lieutenant Governor in the conduct of day-to-day affairs. Okay. So, if there is a conflict, whose opinion will stand? It is the opinion of Lieutenant Governor as per the recent National Capital Territory Amendment Act. So, Lieutenant Governor has a overruling authority, is a overruling authority. The Lieutenant Governor can also promulgate ordinances similar to Governor and President. He can also promulgate ordinances. Okay. There is a Advisory Committee of Union Territories. What do you mean by Advisory Committee of Union Territories? Okay. So, what is the composition of this Advisory Committee? So, all the 6, so I told out of 8 union territories are there, out of which 3 have what? Legislative assembly, right? So, the remaining 5 which do not have legislative assembly, they without those union territories without legislature form part of this advisory committee. So, we have legislature, Andaman and Nicobar Island, Chandigarh, Daman and Diu, Nagar Haveli, Lakshadweep and Ladakh. So Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli is considered as one union territory. They were merged in late 2019. These 5 union territories form the part of the this advisory committee. It is headed by whom? Chaired by whom? It is chaired by Union Home Minister. Okay. So, this is with respect to the union territories. Administrative system of union territories. What is the administrative system? Okay. So, I told Andaman and Nicobar has which authority? So, where all it is called Lieutenant Governor, where all it is called Administrator. This question is important. It was asked to me in my UPSC interview. So, Andaman and Nicobar has Lieutenant Governor. The Chandigarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu has Administrator. Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu and Kashmir as Lieutenant Governor. Lakshadweep as Administrator. Ladakh as Lieutenant Governor. So, Lieutenant Governor in how many union territories? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 union territories have Lieutenant Governor. 3 union territories have administrator. Okay. Comparing states and union territories. How the states and union territories can be compared. So states have a federal relationship. Federal means division of power. State list, union list. So with respect to union territory, the relationship is unitary. So the entire power lies with the union. So there is a distribution of power in union territory. In the case of states, no, there is a direct control by center. In the case of union territories, states, they have autonomy. Union territories, no autonomy. So states, there is a uniform administrative setup. Chief ministers in all the states. Here there is no uniformity. So these are some of the differences. What are the articles when it comes to union territories? Article 390, 239 to 241. So here three articles are important. Article 239 itself speaks about union territories. Article 239. Next is 239AA. What does it speak about? It speaks about the National Capital Territory of Delhi. Okay, next we have one more article is important. What article? 241. Article number 241. High courts. It speaks about high courts. Okay, next we will move towards scheduled and tribal areas. I told you there is fifth schedule, fifth and sixth schedule. Schedule areas, and so fifth schedule. What does fifth schedule speaks about? Fifth schedule speaks about schedule areas and schedule tribes. Schedule areas and schedule tribes. Sixth schedule speaks about tribal areas. Tribal areas. How many tribal in how many states? 4 states. Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram or Manipur. It is Mizoram. Okay, not Mizoram, it is Manipur. Okay. So it is Mizoram, sorry. It is Mizoram and Tripura. Okay. So what are the constitutional provisions? Article 244. Article 244 under which part? Part 10. Part 10 of the Constitution. Part 10 of the Constitution. Article 244. So what and also here are the schedule numbers. Okay. Okay, so administration of schedule areas. How the schedule areas are administrated. So schedule areas are treated differently when it compared to the states. So because of their unique culture, because of their unique language, because of their unique land system, land administration system, because of their unique criminal and civil laws. So they are treated differently, right? So because they are so it is inhabited by whom? Aboriginals. What are aboriginals? Aboriginals means not civilized people. They are tribal people. Okay. So because of these qualities, these central government has a special responsibility with respect to administration of these areas. So fifth schedule areas. So we will talk about fifth schedule areas. So fifth schedule areas, first how they are formed. So declaration of schedule areas, how schedule areas are declared in first place. The president is empowered to declare an area to be schedule area. Who declares the schedule area? It is the president. No other authority can declare. So he can increase the area of the schedule area or he can decrease the area of schedule area. So what is the power of the center and state? Executive power of the center and state when it comes to schedule area. So the executive power of the state extends to the schedule areas. So state has executive powers with respect to what? With respect to items in the state list, right? So though that executive power also extends to schedule areas, so there is no difference. But governor has special responsibility. Even though state authority or state executive power extends to those areas, governor has special responsibility with respect to such areas. He has to submit report to the president annually regarding the administration of such areas. So also these areas, scheduled areas, have tribal advisory council. Each state having a scheduled area has to establish a tribal advisory council. It consists of how many members? It consists of 20 members. So tribal advisory council, scheduled area, tribal advisory council. What is tribal advisory council? It is a council consists of tribes and other administrators. It consists of 20 members. So they advise to the governor on various matters. Okay, laws applicable in the scheduled area. What are the laws that are applicable or not applicable in the scheduled areas? So the governor is empowered. So parliament forms the laws. So they are equally applicable to the states. However, when it comes to scheduled areas, the governor can say which law will apply, which central law will apply to the scheduled area, or which central law will not apply to the scheduled area. So the governor can specify which laws can apply or which law will apply with modification, certain modification to suit the need of the areas. Okay, this is with respect to laws applicable to scheduled areas. Also, he can make regulation for the peaceful conduct of proceedings, peaceful conduct of day-to-day administration in the tribal areas. Who can make the regulation? It is the governor. Okay. So, and also not only peaceful regulation, he can restrict the transfer of land. So, tribes have their own land, right? So, this governor can restrict the transfer of land of tribal people in order to safeguard their interests. Okay. So, when it comes to tribal empowerment, scheduled areas and welfare of scheduled areas and scheduled tribes. When it comes to welfare of these two sections, that is scheduled areas and scheduled tribes, there are two commissions appointed by the central government. So there is a constitutional provision to appoint these commissions. So to study the condition of the tribal areas and scheduled areas. So two commissions have been appointed. So according to the constitutional provisions, what are the two commissions? First commission is UN Debar Commission. Second commission is Dilip Singh Bhuria Committee. UN Debar Commission 1960. Dilip Singh Bhuria Commission 2004. You have to just quote these commission names to study the situation of the tribal and scheduled areas. Administration of tribal areas. Next, we will move to 6 scheduled areas. This is all with respect to fifth scheduled areas. So, administration of tribal areas. Okay, so I told which are the 4 states: Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Okay, so what are the features of administration? Why they are separated? Why there is a 6 schedule separate for them? So because these people are more remote. The people in these states are in certain pockets of these states are having more remote origins. That is, they are not in sync with the mainstream society. So, they are not in sync with the mainstream society. So, what are the features of administration of tribal areas? So, here in these tribal areas, there will be constitution of this tribal council, tribal administrative council, autonomous districts. So, wherever tribes are in higher numbers, there will be constitution of autonomous districts. So, Assam has autonomous districts, Tripura has autonomous districts, Mizoram has autonomous districts, even Meghalaya has autonomous districts. What do you mean by autonomous districts? So, the power of state government is restricted when it comes to administering these districts. So the governor can organize or reorganize. The governor can organize or reorganize these districts. So next, each autonomous district can have how many members? It can have 30 members. It can so each autonomous district has a district council. District council has how many members? The district council has 30 members. The number is important. Okay. So these councils administer the area under their jurisdiction. Okay. Next is so there can be these councils can also form village councils. They can devolve or decentralize the power from the district council. They can form village council and also trial courts. They can also form courts. Village council or courts, both can be formed by this district council. So they can also, district council can also form, start schools, fairs, markets, fisheries and roads. In all these areas, the district council can exercise its power. So recently Arunachal Pradesh has demanded itself to be constituted as a part of 6th schedule area. So these are the features of the 6th schedule area. So 2021 means the question was not asked, maybe high probability of being asked in future, that is 2022 mains. So these district council are empowered to collect land revenue, land tax in these areas. They can collect the taxes in these areas. Okay, the acts of parliament. So parliament and state legislature form acts in have acts in their respective areas. They do not extend to these district areas unless the governor says that these acts will apply. So parliamentary laws, state laws, they do not apply to 6th schedule areas unless the governor says that it is going to apply. Okay. So what are the tribal areas? What are the tribal areas? Assam, what are the tribal areas? You can note down North Kachar Hills District, Karbi Anglang District, Bodoland Territorial Area District. This Bodoland Territorial Area District is important because there was recently 1 or 2 years back Bodoland agreement, Bodo agreement between the union government and the Bodos, National Bodo Students Union or some union. Okay, next is Meghalaya, 3 hills, Kasi, Jaintia and Garo. 3 hills have 3 districts, autonomous districts. Tripura Tribal Area District. Tripura has Tripura Tribal Area District. Next is Mizoram MLC. You can use this mnemonic MLC. What is the MLC? Mara District, Lai District, Chakma District. Mara, Lai and Chakma District as autonomous districts. What are the articles when it comes to administration of tribal areas? I told Article 224 is the article when it comes to administration of tribal areas. Okay, what are the parliamentary laws? So I told parliamentary laws and also state laws do not apply to this district. So the governor can say which laws will apply. So here to enable these provisions, there are certain acts formulated by the parliament. So we have Lushai Hills District Act, Government of Union Territories Amendment Act, 5th Schedule to Constitution Amendment Act and many other acts. 6th Schedule to Constitution Act. So many amendment acts. The acts per se are not very important. Next we will move to constitutional bodies. We are beginning the topic on constitutional bodies. So what do you mean by constitutional bodies? It means these bodies are mentioned in the constitution. These bodies are mentioned in the constitution. It derives their power from the constitution, not by any law enacted by the parliament. Which are the few bodies? It is election commission is there, UPSC is there, CAG is there, and many other bodies, right? Okay. So when it comes to election commission, you know what it does. It conducts elections for the post of election for the parliament and state legislature, and also to the office of what? Also to the office of president and vice president. 4 areas: president, vice president, parliament, and state legislature. Okay. So it is a permanent and independent body. Which article speaks about constitutional? Which article speaks about election commission? You need to remember this article, very important. Article 324 speaks about, Article 324 speaks about what? They speaks about election commission. Okay. So what is the composition of election commission? What does election commission consist of? Election commission shall consist of a chief election commissioner and other election commissioners. Chief election commissioner and other election commissioners. So who appoints them? They are appointed by the president. The president appoints the election commissioner. So not only the election, so there are 3 authorities. What are the 3 authorities? Chief election commissioner, and regional election commissioner. These 3 authorities are appointed by whom? They are appointed by the election commission. So the conditions of service are determined by whom? The conditions of service are determined by the president. The president determines what salary, what tenure, everything. Okay. So the election commission for a long time acted as a single member body. That is, there was only what? There was only single election commissioner, that is chief election commissioner. So however, after 1989 there is a after 1993 there is continuously chief election commissioner plus 2 election commissioners. So they have equal powers to a judge of a, they have equal status. They have equal status and powers as those of a Supreme Court judge. The status is similar to a Supreme Court judge. Okay. So independence. So they hold office for how many years? The election commissioners hold office for 6 years or up to the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. So how the independence of election commission is ensured? You know, India is the largest democracy. Since 1950, that is the enactment of constitution, consistently we have been conducting elections after elections. Until now we have remained a successful democracy. Nobody can point a finger towards India's democracy, right? Okay. So how the independence is ensured? First point is security of tenure. The election commissioner's security of tenure cannot be curtailed, and also they cannot be, their salary and other service tenure cannot be, service conditions cannot be varied. Their salary and other things cannot be varied. So also their removal. So their removal is by parliament. Though he is appointed by the president, he is removed by the parliament. What are the conditions of removal? It is similar to the Supreme Court or High Court judge, that is proved misbehavior or incapacity. So in the case of misbehavior or incapacity, he or she stands removed. So I say also said service conditions. So independence is ensured by the service conditions once they are appointed cannot be varied. Next is, okay, any other election commissioner apart from chief election commissioner, other election commissioners. So we have chief election commissioner and 2 election commissioners, right? So these 2 election commissioners cannot be removed until the chief election commissioner recommends. So chief election commissioner is removed by based on parliament. So parliament removes them. Okay, removes him. However, election commissioner and regional election commissioner are removed based on the recommendation of the CEC. This difference is very, very important. Okay, so there are some, when it comes to election commission, there are some shortcomings in the constitution. What are the shortcomings? So you can look at it in the book. So constitution has not prescribed for the qualifications. What is the qualification? That is why we see majorly it is the IAS officers who heads the election commission, being a chief election commissioner or a normal election commissioner. Powers and functions. So what are the powers and functions of election commission? So the powers and functions can be divided into administrative powers, judicial powers and quasi-judicial powers. Administrative powers, quasi-judicial powers, they don't have complete judicial powers, administrative, quasi-judicial and advisory. So administrative means executive powers, advisory means they advise the president or governor to take action, and quasi-judicial means to impose penalty on the wrongdoers. Suppose a person is convicted. Suppose a person does not submit accounts to the election commission. So if he fails to submit accounts before the election, he is liable for disqualification. Whose authority? It is election commission's authority. In that case, it acts as quasi-judicial body. Okay, what are the powers and functions in detail? Okay, so territorial constituency delimitation commission. Delimitation commission, election commissioner as a representation. Along with it, so they periodically revise the electoral rolls. Electoral rolls are periodically revised. So they announce the election. They announce and conduct the election. They grant recognition to political parties. So we have national parties, we have regional parties, and also we have independent candidates, right? So to them, the election commission gives recognition. Party symbol is allotted. Certain parties are considered as national parties. What are the conditions? We will look at it in the chapter on party system. So there is a condition called, if a party wins in 4 states with at least 3 seats and secures 4% of votes, this party can be called as a national party. Similarly, state party, different conditions are there. So election commission also imposes the model code of conduct. Code of conduct during the elections. So model code of conduct, you know what is model code of conduct. Before elections, majorly the government power is restricted. So they cannot do certain activities like transfers, and also the ministers cannot use government cars. So also major policies cannot be enacted during the elections. All these restrictions are given in the model code of conduct. How the campaign has to be conducted, how the star campaigners have to conduct themselves, and many other things are given in the model code of conduct. So also with respect to the powers and functions, they advise the governor with respect to disqualification. So with respect to MP disqualification, they advise the president. With respect to MLA disqualification, they advise the governor. Under which act? Under RPA, Representation of People Act 1951. Okay, so these are certain functions of the powers and functions of the Election Commission. Vision, mission and principles. What are the visions, mission and principles? So vision is the Election Commission constantly strives itself to be an institution of excellence. The Election Commission wants itself to be an institution of excellence. Also mission is, what is the mission? Vision means long-term idea, long-term goal. Mission is how this goal is implemented. So it is implemented by maintaining independence, integrity, autonomy, inclusiveness and participation in the election. This is the mission. And what are the principles? So principles: to uphold the values enshrined in the Constitution, to conduct elections, free and fair elections, so to ensure participation of all sections in the elections, and also to promote awareness about the electoral process. We have sweep, systematic voter sweep portal. So it is sweep portal is conducting awareness campaign electoral. You just Google the definition, sweep portal. So it is also conducting electoral awareness. Okay. So also to develop human resource for professional delivery of electoral services. So before election, these teachers and other government employees are trained by the Election Commission in various seminars how the election has to be conducted. Okay. So all these work are done by the Election Commission. So this is all with respect to Election Commission. Next, the most important body, Central Public Recruitment Body, UPSC, for me most of you are preparing. So what are the constitutional provisions? It is the article. So it comes under part 14 of the Constitution. Part 14 of the Constitution. What are the articles? Article 315 to 323 speaks about UPSC. Article 315 to 323 speaks about UPSC. Okay. What is the composition? What does the UPSC compose of? So UPSC consists of a chairman. So there will be a chairman majorly and other members. So you go to interview, all these members or the chairman will conduct your interview. They will be the chairman of your interviewing board. Okay. So UPSC consists of a chairman and other members. How they are appointed by whom? They are appointed by the President of India. Okay. So usually the commission consists of 9 to 11 members. No qualification has been prescribed. On what qualifications these members are elected or these members are selected for the UPSC board. So no qualification has been prescribed. So the Constitution authorizes the President to determine service conditions, that is tenure and also salary. Everything is determined by whom? It is determined by the President. Okay. Generally the members hold office for 6 years or up to the age of 65 years, until they attain 65 years or up to the age of 6 years, whichever is earlier, they hold office till then. So they can also be removed. When can they be removed? Okay. So the President can remove them on as provided in the Constitution. So here there is no provision like misbehavior. So along with misbehavior and incapacity, just like Supreme Court judges and Election Commission, there are many other conditions as well. So what are the conditions for removal of UPSC members? So if he is adjudged an insolvent, that is he takes a debt and doesn't repay, then he is removed from the office. If he engages in a paid employment outside the office, so if he gets involved in some paid employment, so you are a board member, you take up some other employment which has remuneration, so you are removed. Then, so also in the opinion of the president, if he is unfit by body or mind, so by bodily infirmity, physical infirmity or mental infirmity, if the president finds him to be unfit, then also he is removed from the office. So also the president can remove on the grounds of misbehavior. So here when it comes to misbehavior, the president has to refer the matter to Supreme Court. So the president in the case of misbehavior refers the matter to whom? To Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court says you can remove that person, then that person can be removed from the UPSC board. Okay. So how the independence of UPSC is? So we have spoken about composition and removal. How the independence of UPSC is ensured. So the first condition is the removal procedure is difficult. They can be removed only by the president as determined in the constitution on the grounds mentioned in the constitution. I told till now: insolvency, body infirmity, employment, misbehavior. Apart from this, under no other condition they can be removed. That is how independence is ensured. So also the conditions of service, once they get into the office, their condition, that is salary and other things, cannot be varied. Their salary and other things cannot be varied. And also their salaries, allowances and many other things, the salary, allowances and other things are charged upon Consolidated Fund of India. So what do you mean by salary charged on Consolidated Fund of India? So Consolidated Fund of India, if the salary is charged upon it, it is not subject to monthly or yearly voting in the budget. In the budget, Consolidated Fund of India, it is not subject to vote. Okay, I have discussed what is charged expenditure in the budget section of Parliament. Okay, next is the chairman. So also there are other conditions. There are other conditions which ensures the independence of UPSC. So what are the other conditions? The chairman after retiring is not eligible for public office. Once he retires as a chairman of UPSC, he cannot take up any other employment. Okay, even the member after retiring cannot take up any other employment. He cannot be except for chairman of UPSC or normal member of UPSC, except becoming a chairman of UPSC or chairman of UPSC or chairman of SPSC, that is State Public Service Commission. He is not eligible for any other government service. So these are certain conditions which ensures the independence of UPSC. So what are the functions of UPSC? What does UPSC do? So all your exams, IAS exam, IPS, and what is it called? Civil Services exam. This exam is conducted by what? By UPSC. So it is called as a protector of merit system. It protects the merit system, merit-based recruitment. No influence, no nepotism. So the recruitment is done on merit. If you pass the required exam, you will be recruited, or else you won't be recruited. Okay. So this UPSC conducts exam for all India services, central services and public services of centrally administered territories. One is all India service, that is IAS, IPS and IFS, Indian Forest Service. Central services, IRS, Indian Foreign Service and many other services, and Union Territory Public Service, that is Pondix, DANIPS, that is Delhi Public Service, Pondicherry Civil Service, all these services. So UPSC does the recruitment. Okay. So it is consulted. So other function is it is consulted by the government. When does the government consults the UPSC? Suppose with respect to recruitment of civil posts, recruitment for civil posts. Civil post means what? So, which serves the citizens, the post which serves the citizens. So, to recruit members to this civil post, the government conducts the UPSC. Okay. And also with respect to promotion and transfers of civil servants. Suppose you become IAS or IPS, with respect to your promotion and transfer. So the government conducts the consults. The government has to take a call based on consulting the UPSC. And also all disciplinary matters. Suppose a person has to be suspended. Suppose an IAS or IPS officer has to be suspended, or he has to be dismissed, or his increment has to be withheld, or his promotion has to be stopped. In those cases also, that is called as disciplinary matters, to exercise discipline, that is to punish a civil servant, then also the government consults the UPSC. Without UPSC consultation, the government cannot take a call. Okay. So this is with respect to broadly the functions of the UPSC. Okay. Next, we will take up what are the limitations. What are the limitations of UPSC? So I already said the government consults the UPSC. So in various areas, for recruitment, for promotion, for dismissal, and also the principles that has to be followed in the principles which has to be followed in conducting the exams. All these things the government consults the UPSC. So if the Supreme Court has given a judgment in this direction, what is the judgment? So government consults UPSC in dismissal and service conditions and various things. So if the government doesn't consult, so there is no reprieve. So the civil servant cannot go anywhere. He cannot go to court. So it is the prerogative of the, prerogative means it is the discretion. Discretion means it is at the whims and fancies, or it is at the will. So it is at the will of the, it is the will of the government whether to consult UPSC or not. Okay. Next, what are the limitations of UPSC? So in certain areas, in certain conditions, in certain areas, UPSC is not consulted by the government. When does the UPSC is not consulted? With respect to reservation, when the government makes reservation for SCs, STs, backward communities, even now EWS. In that case, UPSC is not consulted. That is one of the drawback. And also Group C and Group D posts. So UPSC majorly focuses on Group A and Group B posts. So with respect to Group C and Group D posts, the government is not, the UPSC is not consulted. These are certain drawbacks or limitations of the UPSC. So what is the role of UPSC? So what is the role of UPSC in India? So it is the, I already said, it is the watchdog of merit system. Suppose UPSC is not there, government will appoint any person as district magistrate. Only because UPSC is there, there is a proper merit system. Only people who pass the exam, they are appointed as officers. Only because UPSC is there. So UPSC is the watchdog. The term used in the constitution is, or in the book is, UPSC is the watchdog of merit system in India. Okay. So it is not only a recruiting body. So it does not only does the recruitment, that is appoints, selects people for government jobs, but also decides on disciplinary matters. That is when the serving civil servant does some mistake. So if he has to be penalized, if he has to be demoted, or if he has to be promoted, in those areas also UPSC is consulted. So this is the role of UPSC in the democratical setup of India. lastly we'll discuss what are the articles when it comes to UPSC. I already told article 315 to 323. Article 315 to 323 speaks about UPSC. So these are the articles which speaks about UPSC. Okay. So this is all with respect to UPSC. So next we will talk about State Public Service Commission. So similar to UPSC at the central level, we have State Public Service Commissions. We have KPSC in Karnataka, right? So we have KPSC in Karnataka. So what are the constitutional provisions? So the same constitutional provisions. So under which part? Part 14 of the Constitution. Sorry, which part? Part 14. Part 14 of the Constitution. Article 315 to 323 also speaks about State Public Service Commission. So this is with respect to constitutional provisions. So what is the composition? Who heads the State Public Service Commission? Okay. So there are chairman and members. So there will be a chairman of the State Public Service Commission and also members. Many members will be there. So who appoints these members? So it is appointed by the governor. So governor appoints the chairman, governor appoints the members of the State Public Service Commission. Okay, so what are the conditions? With respect to UPSC members, so no qualification has been given by the Constitution. However, with respect to State Public Service Commission, with respect to appointment, there is some qualification given in the Constitution. What is the qualification? Okay, so the qualification is 1/2 of the members should be a person who have held office for at least 10 years in the India, government office for 10 years. So half of the members, suppose there are 10 members, at least half, that is 5 members must have held government office, that is any post under the government for at least 10 years. Though only those members are eligible for half of the posts. So rest of the half, it is the discretion of the governor. That is, governor can appoint anyone. So what is the term? So the term of chairman and members is 6 years or until they complete 62 years. It is either 6 years or until they complete 62 years of age. Okay, so how the State Public Service Commission members are removed. So here one peculiar thing is there. What is this peculiar thing? So even though the chairman and members are appointed by whom? Even though the chairman and members are appointed by the governor, they can be removed only by the president. They can be removed. So appointing it is governor, removal it is president. So the president removes the members or the chairman. So what are the conditions? Conditions are similar to UPSC members. What are the conditions? Either when he goes insolvent, that is, insolvent means I have already told, he takes a debt, he takes debt and fails to repay the debt, that is, he has gone bankrupt. In that case, he can be removed. And also when he goes, when he takes up any private employment, being in office, if he takes any private employment, then also he can be removed. And also one more condition is there. What is that one more condition? So by infirmity of body, if body or mind, if there is physical defect in the body or any mental defect, then also that person can be removed from the office. Okay, also one more condition, misbehavior. So in the case of misbehavior, the case goes to the governor, the president refers the case to whom? So the president refers the case to Supreme Court. Supreme Court gives a direction. Supreme Court misbehavior, the case goes to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court gives a direction whether he has to be removed or not. So if they say he or she can be removed, then the president can remove him. So these are the 4 conditions under which State Public Service Commission members can be removed. Okay. So independence, how this State Public Service Commission independence. So independence means what? From whom? So independence from the government. So government should not meddle. That is, government should not have its say in the appointment or functioning. So this body should be functioning independently without government's interference. So how the independence is ensured? One is removal procedure. So removal procedure is stringent. That is, without these 4 conditions being ensured, these members of State Public Service Commission cannot be removed. Only upon these conditions they can be removed. Okay. Next is the service conditions. The service conditions cannot be changed after they are appointed. So once the members are appointed, their salary, their term and their privileges and benefits, none of this can be changed once the members are appointed. Okay. And their salaries and other expenses are charged on Consolidated Fund of India. What is charged expenditure? Charged expenditure means Consolidated Fund. Suppose, so I will explain again. So what is Consolidated Fund of India? Just like you have a bank account. You take money out of it, you deposit money into it. Similarly, Government of India has its own bank account. That account is called as, you can understand it as Government of India's bank account. So this account is called as Consolidated Fund of India. All the taxes, revenues, loans, repaid loans, everything goes into this. So the taxes you pay and every revenue goes and gets stored in Consolidated Fund of India. So here 2 kinds of expenditure, in two ways money can be taken out of the Consolidated Fund. So what are the 2 ways? One is budget. In budget, the government says this much money is needed for this ministry. So they place the demand for grants. So via demand for grants, you can understand demand for grants as an instrument of budget. Via budget, money can be taken. And also second way is charge expenditure. So in charge expenditure, there is no voting. So Parliament cannot vote. The salary of President, the salary of Vice President, the salary of Election Commission members, the salary of UPSC members, the salary of SPSC members, that is State Public Service Commission members. So their salaries are charged expenditure. They are not subject to vote. Parliament cannot have a say. So in the case of budget, Parliament has a say. In the case of charge expenditure, there is no say of the Parliament. Okay. So in that way also the independence is ensured. Also, the chairman of SPSC cannot be a member of the same SPSC again. So once he retires, he cannot be a member of the same SPSC. However, he can be a member of UPSC. Similarly, members who after retiring cannot become members of the same Public Service Commission again. They can be member of UPSC or the chairman of the same SPSC. Okay. So these are the independent. These are the measures by which independence of the State Public Service Commission is ensured. Okay. So next we will talk about what are the functions. The functions are similar to UPSC. It conducts examination for the appointment of various state government posts. Your KPSC conducts exam for KS, KS, it conducts exam. It also conducts for Group C, for FDA, SDA, and many other things. So that is the primary function. Okay. So also the State Public Service Commission is consulted by the government. Similarly, how the central government consults the UPSC, state government consults the SPSC. Consults means it talks to the State Public Service Commission in what matters? In matters related to recruitment of civil servants. How the civil servants are recruited. So there the government asks the opinion of SPSC, and also with respect to their promotion, their service condition, their promotion, transfer from one service to other service. In all these areas, the state government consults SPSC. Also disciplinary matters. Suppose a civil servant does some mistake, then also the state government consults the State Public Service Commission. So that may be cutting of the increment or cutting of promotion, dismissal, removal, suspension. In all these matters, state government consults State Public Service Commission. Okay. So these are the certain functions of the State Public Service Commission. So what are the limitations? Limitations is similar to the UPSC. So suppose the government fails to consult the State Public Service Commission in any matter, the state government fails to consult the SPSC, the aggrieved civil servant, the person who is affected, that is civil servant, he has no other arena to file his case. So in those cases he cannot go anywhere. And also what other limitations with respect to reservation of SCs, STs, backward classes, this State Public Service Commission doesn't have any role. So what is the role of State Public Service Commission? So it also acts as a watchdog of merit system. Only people who have merit, only people who qualify the exam, they can only be appointed. So watchdog of merit system at the state level. UPSC acts as a watchdog of merit system at central level. This SPSC acts as a watchdog of merit system at state level. Okay. So also the role extends to giving recommendations to the government. So when the state government consults, the State Public Service Commission gives recommendation on various things, how the civil servants has to be recruited, how they have to be promoted, how in what way they can be transferred in many other ways. So JPSC, what is JPSC? JPSC is Joint Public Service Commission. Okay. So what is Joint Public Service Commission? So every state, so we have UPSC at the central level and SPSC is at the state level. Suppose a state does not have a single SPSC, 2 or more states can come together and form a Public Service Commission. In that case, that commission is called as JPSC, Joint Public Service Commission. Okay, so the JPSC can be created by what? So when the JPSC has to be created on a case by case basis. So JPSC can be created by a act of parliament. The state government doesn't have any authority. The state legislature, the state law making body doesn't have any authority. It is only the parliament which can form a JPSC. Okay. So we have Haryana and Punjab. Haryana and Punjab had a JPSC for a short while. After Haryana was taken out of Punjab, they were having a Joint Public Service Commission for a short time. Afterwards, they formed their independent commissions. So similar. So in the case of State Public Service Commission, who appoints the chairman and members? In the case of State Public Service Commission, it is the governor who appoints the chairman and members. However, when it comes to Joint Public Service Commission, it is the president. It is the president who appoints the chairman and members. It is the president who appoints the chairman and members, and rest of the service conditions are similar to SPSC. That is, they hold office for 62 years, up to the age of 62 years, or until or to the tenure of 6 years, either 6 years or until they attain 62 years. Okay, this is broadly about the JPSC. What are the articles with respect to SPSC? Similarly, I told 315 to 323. So 315 to 323. Okay, next we will move towards Finance Commission. Finance Commission. So Finance Commission, what does it do? So this central government collects revenue, income tax, corporation tax, cessors, not cessors. Cessors go exclusive to the central government. So income tax, corporation tax, dividend distribution tax, minimum applicable tax, MAT, and many taxes the central government collects. So even indirect taxes. What are indirect taxes? So you go and buy a biscuit. So on that biscuit, in the MRP, there will be some tax which is already there. So you don't pay the tax directly to the government. You pay it to the company which pays in turn to the government. So indirect tax. So indirect tax and direct tax. So the central government collects the revenue. This revenue forms a pool, revenue pool. So suppose this pool is 100% or 100 rupees. Let us assume it is 100 rupees. So the 15th Finance Commission, the recent Finance Commission is 15th Finance Commission. This commission is headed by whom? N.K. Singh. N.K. Singh is heading the 15th Finance Commission. He has given a recommendation out of 100 rupee or 100%, 41% should go to the states. 41% should go to the states. So this is broadly the function of Finance Commission. How much money should go to the states from the center? So this is the broadly the function. So what are the constitutional provisions? Only one article, Article 280. Article 280 speaks about the Finance Commission. It is a quasi-judicial body. What do you mean by a quasi-judicial body? Quasi-judicial. So it is not complete judicial. Quasi-judicial. It has executive powers. Executive plus legislative, executive plus judicial powers. So combines to form a quasi-judicial body. It is not a complete court. It is a kind of semi-court. Composition. What is the composition? The Finance Commission consists of 5 members, chairman plus 4 other members. So what are the parliament. So the constitution says the parliament can determine the qualifications of members who can be qualified as the members of Finance Commission. Who determines it? The parliament. So it says the chairman, I told there will be a chairman plus 4 members. So what is the qualification of chairman? The chairman should have experience in public affairs. He should have experience in public affairs. The 4 other members, among the 4 other members, one has to be a High Court judge, another has to be another person should have knowledge in finance, special knowledge in finance, another person should have experience in financial administration, and the last person should have economic knowledge, special economic knowledge. So this is the composition. Next we will speak about functions. What are the functions of the Finance Commission? I told you already the major function. This is the major function. So it is called the distribution of net proceeds of taxes between the center and states. So tax revenue, how much is distributed between the center and states, that is the primary function of the Finance Commission. And also how much grants in aid should the center give to the states. So whenever there are floods, so there are two types of grants in aid. Article 275 speaks about grants in aid. What do you mean by grants in aid? So central government gives money to state government, right? So for some special purpose. So these are called grants. These are called grants. So there are various ways of giving. One is this tax revenue. Tax revenue, 100 rupees is collected, 41 rupee goes to the state. Apart from this tax revenue, so it can also give grants from time to time. Grants means just like giving money, just like a father giving money to son. So here there are two types of grants. One is discretionary grant, another is statutory grant. Discretionary grant, the central government can give whenever it wants. No compulsion. Statutory grants, there is compulsion. They have to give these grants. So on what basis do they give these grants? It is based on the recommendation of the Finance Commission. So the Finance Commission says how much grants in aid should be given to the states from the center. And also the Finance Commission speaks about how the panchayats and municipalities resources can be augmented. Resources augmented means how money can be given to the panchayats. So we have central government, state government and panchayats and municipalities. How money can be given to panchayats and municipalities from the states and also from the center. That is also said by the Finance Commission. Okay. So the Commission submits its report. The Commission submits its report to whom? Is it to the Parliament? No. It submits its report to the President. The Commission submits the report to the President, who in turn places it, who in turn, the President in turn takes the report and gives it to the Parliament. So then the Parliament deliberates upon it. Advisory role. So advisory role. What do you mean by advisory role? So the recommendations. So whatever the Finance Commission says, the recommendations are not binding. The government need not follow it. It is at the discretion, at the whims and fancies, at the whims and fancies of the government. Either to follow it, it may either follow it, it may not follow it. Okay. So it is just a advisory body. What is a advisory role? So as I said, it is up to the union government to accept the recommendations or not accept the recommendations. Okay. So the Constitution of India. So this is a Financial Commission is a constitutional body. So the Constitution of India envisages or thinks just like how UPSC and UPSC and State Public Service Commission is the protector of merit system of recruitment in the union and the state. Similarly, to protect the fiscal federalism. What do you mean by fiscal federalism? Fiscal means account, monetary account of the government. How much money the government gets every year, how much it spends. So fiscal federalism. Federalism means division of power between center and states. Division of power between center and states. How the monetary resources are divided between the center and states is said by the whom? Finance Commission. So it is a protector of fiscal federalism. Okay. Right now we have what Finance Commission? 15th Finance Commission headed by whom? N.K. Singh. N.K. Singh. Prelims question. Okay. So this is all. Article is only one article is important. Article 280. Okay. So next we will move towards GST Council. So GST Council. What is GST Council? Goods and Services Tax Council. So how this council was established? First is how this council. So what is the function of the council? So the GST Council sets the tax rates. It sets the tax rates. Presently we have 5 slabs. 5 slabs. What are the 5 slabs? 0%, 12%, 18%, 28%, and one more is there, either 5%, I think. I'm not sure. Just check it out. So this was established after 101 Amendment Act. 101st Amendment Act. So this council was established after 101st Amendment Act. Okay. So under which article? So new article was formed. What is the article? 279A. Under 279A, GST Council was established. Under which article? 279A. So under this article, what does it say? It says the President can constitute a GST Council. Who constitutes the GST Council? It is the President who constitutes the GST Council. So next is, what is the vision and mission of the council? What is the vision and mission? So highest standards of cooperative federalism. Highest standards of cooperative federalism. What do you mean by that? So cooperative federalism. Federalism means division of power between center and states. I already told that. So cooperative federalism means center and states and state cooperate among themselves in the matter of taxation. In the matter, so earlier what used to happen? So center used to have one taxation system. Each state had their own taxation system, right? Center had its own taxation system. Each state had its own taxation system. There was no cooperation among the states, cooperation among the center and states. So GST Council envisages cooperative federalism. What is the mission? So how this vision is put to use? What is the difference between vision and mission? Vision means long-term goal. Mission is how this goal will be implemented on ground. So how this goal will be implemented on ground? It is implemented through forming a proper GST structure. Technology driven the GST structure. So what is the technology? We have GST network. We have GST network. It is called GSTN. One more technological factor in GST, it is e-way bill. What is this e-way bill? So suppose you send a good from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu. Earlier what used to happen? That good was stopped at the Tamil Nadu check post and we had to pay the Tamil Nadu permit or tax. Then move forward. Now we have e-way bill. If the e-way bill is there, that particular truck moving from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu need not stop at the check post. It can directly go to the destination. GST network. GST network, the payment of taxes. The payment of taxes is made easy via GST network. So what is the composition of GST Council? Who are there in the GST Council? First and foremost, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji. Union Finance Minister will be there, and there are Union Minister of State in charge of Revenue. Union Minister of State, Shri Anurag Thakurji, presently Union Minister of State. What is the difference between Cabinet Minister and Minister of State? I have told already in the earlier class. And also state finance ministers, state finance or revenue minister. So these are the three types of people present in the Union GST Council. Okay. So also there are Union Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. So chairperson, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, CBDC, but Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. This body's chairman is also present in the GST Council. So next comes how the council works. So decision of council is taken by what? 3/4 majority. 3/4 majority. Every decision is taken by 3/4 majority. That is, suppose there are 100 members, 75 members has to consent. Then only a decision is made. Okay. Okay. So here, what is the distribution of vote between center and state? Center has 1/3 of the vote. States have collectively 2/3 of the vote. So in order to commit a decision, we have to have how much? 2/3 majority taken by a 3/4 majority, not 2/3 majority. 3/4 majority. So 1/3 vote share center, 2/3 vote share states. Okay. So this is the broadly the working of the GST Council. So next is functions of the council. What are the functions? So what are the taxes? Indirect taxes. Taxes that needs to be, so during the formation of GST, we merge what all taxes? We merged, service tax was merged, service tax and union this manufacturing tax, sales tax and many other taxes, indirect taxes, were even entertainment tax. So many other taxes were merged into GST. So what all taxes that needs to be bought in the GST, that is said by GST Council. And also what are the goods, certain goods, for example, goods like injections, milk and goods which are needed by the poor people, they are exempted from GST. GST is not applicable to them. So what percentage of GST is applicable to them? 0%. 0% GST. Okay. So also they talk about the rates. I told there are 5 slabs. So all the 5 slabs, they decided by whom? Decided by the GST Council. Also they decide the threshold. Today, suppose an enterprise turnover, suppose you have a shop and your annual turnover is less than 1 crore. If your annual turnover is less than 1 crore, you are exempted from paying GST. So this is this clause of exemption. Who decides? It is the GST Council. Okay. Also they determine. So presently crude oil, real estate is electricity. So these three things are outside GST, right? So these three things are outside GST. So on which day? On which day the GST can be applied to? On what date GST can be applied to these three areas? Who determines? GST Council. Okay, and it also acts as a dispute resolution mechanism. Dispute between center and state or state and states. The dispute resolution mechanism, which is the dispute resolution mechanism, it is the GST Council. So this is broadly with respect to GST Council. Next we will talk about National Mission of SCs. So there are three chapters. All these three chapters I will combine because there is a paucity of time. By tomorrow we have to complete the entire polity. So National Commission of SCs, National Commission of STs and National Commission of Backward Classes. So all these chapters, there are similar, the template is similar. I am going to combine all these three chapters and tell together. Evolution of the Commission. So, which is the article? Constitutional provision. Article 338 speaks about National Commission of SC. The article is very, very important. Okay. So, earlier what used to happen? There was no National Commission for SCs. So, how this evolution, how this commission evolved? How the National Commission of SCs evolved? Earlier, there was a special officer for SCs. Earlier, there was no National Commission. What was there earlier? There was a special officer for SCs. Okay. So, special officer for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes to investigate all the matters, related to SCs and STs. There was a special officer. However, when did the National Commission come up? The National Commission came up in 1987. In 1987, National Commission of SCs and also, so first comes the National Commission of SCs and STs. So initially, National Commission of SCs and ST both were together in 1987. Okay. So, this National Commission of SC got constitutional status. Constitutional status. When did it get constitutional status? What do you mean by constitutional status? Constitutional status means a body recognized by the Constitution. The Constitution, so this body's name. This body's name is printed in the Constitution. So they derive their powers. They derive their powers from the Constitution. That is what is meant by constitutional body. So in 1990, so National Commission of SC/ST 1987, 1990 they get constitutional status. I already told what is constitutional status. So in 2003, what happens? This SC/ST, National Commission for SC/ST, this body gets bifurcated. That is, two bodies emerge. What is the two bodies? National Commission of Scheduled Caste, National Commission of Scheduled Tribe. Two bodies emerge. So this is the how the body evolved. How the body evolved. So initially special officer, next 1987 National Commission for SC/STs, then 1990 constitutional status, 2003 division. Okay. Functions of the commission. What are the functions of the commission? To investigate all matters related to SCs, all the matters related to scheduled caste. So it is investigated by whom? It is investigated by this body. Next, specific complaints. Any problem to the SCs, there are specific complaints. It is investigated by whom? It is investigated by this body. And also to plan for the socio-economic development. How socially and economically, samajika mate arthika. ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕವಾಗಿ ಆರ್ಥಿಕವಾಗಿ how they have to be, how these members of the SC has to be brought up. So that planning is also done by, or this body contributes to the planning of the SC community. So they also submit report yearly. They submit report to the president on the working of the body, and also they make recommendations. So recommendations in order to safeguard their rights. So safeguard the rights of the SCs. So report of the commission. So I told every year this commission submits a report. Submits a report to whom? Submits a report to president. What is this report all about? So it is a report about the working of the commission, what the work has been done by this commission in the past 1 year. That is the report that the commission submits. So to whom the report is submitted? It is submitted to the president. The president in turn places this report before the parliament. So before the parliament, the president places the report. Okay. What are the powers of the commission? So what powers does the National Commission of Scheduled Castes have? Okay. So it has a power of a civil court. It has a, similar to the civil court, this commission has powers. So that is in summoning a person, any person, they can ask to come before the National Commission of Scheduled Caste. Any person they can summon. Summon means they can ask them to come and give witness in front of the commission. So that is one power. And also they can ask for any document from the government. Any document they can ask. And also they can ask for evidence of crime committed against NC-SC. I mean the SCs. Whatever the crime committed against SCs, they can ask for evidence. They can ask for public records. So these public officers, that is government officers, have records. So this body can ask for records, public records from the government officers. So these are certain, and also it can issue summons. So it can issue summons to the witnesses, asking them to come and give their witness. Okay, it can issue summons. These are certain powers of, broadly, certain powers of National Commission of SCs. So next we will move to National Commission of STs, separate commission of SCs. So what is the article? For SCs it is 338A. For STs it is for SCs it is 338. For STs it is 338A. The number is important. You have to quote it in your writing exam. Okay. Separate commission. So I already told this National Commission of Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe, both of them got constitutional status when? In 1990. Both of them got separated when? They got separated in the year 2003. In the year 2003, National Commission of Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe got separated into NC-SC and NC-ST in 2003. Okay. So why a separate body for STs? Because scheduled tribes, that is the tribal population, is different culturally and geographically. They are different compared to the scheduled caste. They are comparatively different. Okay. So the Constitutional Amendment Act comes in the, that is separation was done in 2003. However, the body was established, separate body was established in 2004, 1 year later. So what are the functions of the commission? Similar to national NC-SC functions, similar to NC-SC functions. What are the functions? To investigate crimes against the SCs, first function. To investigate specific complaints of SC community, second function. and also to advise to the government, on planning for the scheduled tribes, to plan for the scheduled tribes. That is the third function. And also submitting the report to the president. Every year report is submitted. That is also one of the functions. Okay. So here when it comes to NCST, there are certain specific special functions. Why special functions? Because the population involved is tribal population, and tribes are a special category of population. So what are the special functions? Special functions for the NCST. So ownership rights of STs in the forest area. So the tribes will be living in forest areas, right? So in the forest areas, forest land ownership. If there is some issue, they can go and directly approach the National Commission of Scheduled Tribes, NCST. And also mineral resources. So in the tribal areas, there will be many mineral resources. If the rights of the tribals are breached, if they are compromised in order to extract the minerals, then also they can go to National Commission of Scheduled Tribes. Okay, so and also to ensure livelihood, that is to provide work opportunity for the tribals, that is also one of the function. And also in order to, if suppose some dam comes up, suppose some irrigation project comes up, then they will be displaced from the original position if they have to go and settle somewhere. That is called as rehabilitation and resettlement. That is also taken care by NCST. Okay, next we will speak about report of the commission. I already said they give the report annually to the president. The president in turn places the report where? In front of the parliament. Okay. Powers of the commission. Lastly, we will discuss about powers. Similar to NCSC powers. Summoning a witness. They can ask any person to come and present before the NCST, summoning a person. Next is asking for any document from anyone. That is also there. Then also asking for public records from public office. That can also be done. And also issuing summons. Summons can be issued. So broadly, the power is similar to civil court. The body's power is similar to civil court. So it is what is it called? So it is having judiciary powers also. It is having executive powers also. These type of bodies are called quasi-judicial bodies. They are neither completely judicial. They are not completely executive. They are quasi-judicial bodies. Okay. Next, we will talk about National Commission for Backward Classes. It is not backward castes. It is backward classes. The difference is important. So, most of you read it as National Commission of Backward Castes. There are no backward castes in India. There are backward classes. So, caste is a cultural concept. Samskrutika. Caste andre samskrutikavagi bandirtakantadu. So, when it comes to class is a economic concept, or else you can call this as a social concept as well. Samajika. Caste is a social concept. Class is a economic plus social concept. Okay. National Commission of Backward Classes. So the Mandal case, where does it all originate? So, this VP Singh government, National Front government, 1991, provides reservation of 27% to OBCs. 27% reservation to OBCs. Okay. So, what happens after this? The case go to, so who recommends 27% reservation? It is BP Mandal Commission in 1978. They recommend 27% reservation, which is provided by VP Singh government. So this case goes to Supreme Court. Supreme Court, what is that case called? Mandal case or Indra Sawhney case. Indra Sawhney case 1992. The Supreme Court case is called Indra Sawhney case or Mandal case 1992. So in this case, the Supreme Court Supreme Court says to the government, you have to constitute a National Commission for Backward Classes. So this has origin in the Mandal case judgment. So it is said by the Supreme Court that you have to constitute a National Commission for Backward Classes. So after this judgment, 1993, this was constituted. However, it was not a constitutional body, it was a statutory body. What is the difference between statutory body and constitutional body? Statutory body is based on a law formed by the statutory means law. You remember this. Statutory means law. So the body constituted by a law from the parliament. The parliament forms a law. Out of this law, this body is originated. That is statutory body. What is constitutional body? So the body has its origin in the constitution. The body's name is mentioned in the constitution. It derives its power from the constitution. That is what is meant by the constitutional body. Okay. So when was constitutional status given to this? So until 2018 it was a statutory body. So in 2018 NCBC was given constitutional status. So which is the Amendment Act? Amendment Act of 102. 102nd Amendment Act gives constitutional status to NCBC. Okay. So what is the composition? The commission consists of a chairperson, vice chairperson and 3 other members. Totally 5 members. All of them are appointed by whom? They are appointed by President. The members of the National Commission for Backward Classes are appointed by President. Okay. What are the functions of the commission? What are the functions? So similar functions to NCSC and NCST to investigate the condition, investigate the safeguards of the socially and economically backward classes. ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕವಾಗಿ ಆರ್ಥಿಕವಾಗಿ ಹಿನ್ನಡೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತ ಗುಂಪುಗಳ ಅವರ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನ ಶೋಧಿಸತಕ್ಕಂತದ್ದು. To investigate the legal safeguards for socially and economically backward classes, to inquire into specific complaints, any complaint made by these communities, those complaints are inquired, and also with respect to planning, so to advise to the government, they are similar to the NCSC, NCST, NCBC advises to the government on planning for upliftment of the educationally and socially and educationally backward classes. So and also they also present report to the president. Every year they present report to the president. Okay. So these are the broad functions of the NCBC. So report of the commission, similar, it is they present a report to the president places it in front of the parliament. So later on parliament debates it and all the recommendations have to be implemented. If the government does not implement any of the recommendation of the NCBC, then they can say, if the government does not implement any of the recommendation of NCBC, then they have to give an explanation to parliament, give an explanation saying why these recommendations were not implemented. Okay, next is powers of the commission. What are the powers? So powers is similar to NCSC and NCST. it acts like a civil court. It can summon any person. It can summon any person in front of it. And it can receive evidence. It can ask for evidence of crime. And also it can ask for public records from public officers. And also it can issue summons to the person, to any person to come and appear before it. These are certain powers of the National Commission of Backward Classes. Next, Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities. So, Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities. So, what are linguistic minorities? So, in Karnataka we have Kannada as the major language. Kannada. So, whereas some language, you take Konkani or some language, the number of members in speaking this language is very minimal. Very minimal. These are called linguistic minorities, language-based minorities. Language-based minorities. Kannada, major language, Konkani, minor language, the number of speakers is less. These members are called linguistic minorities. Religious minorities, Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, all those. Linguistic minorities based on language. So, what are the constitutional provisions? The State Reorganization Commission. So, 1956, all these states were formed. Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and many other states were formed. Right? So, there what happens? 7th Amendment Act. So, 1956, we have what? State Reorganizations Act. State Reorganizations Act. So, and also 7th Constitutional Amendment Act. Why these two were formed? Why these two? So, because of these two, many states were formed in India. So, 14 states in total. The state of Karnataka, the state of Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and many states, Punjab and also many states, UP and many other states were formed out of these two. That is State Reorganization Act and 7th Constitution. So, this constitutional amendment, 7th Constitutional Amendment also provided for the office of Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities. The same amendment provided for the special officer. So, what is the article? This article is very, very important. Article 350B. Article 350B. In which part? In part 17. Part number is not very important. However, article number is very, very important. So, what does this article say? This article say there should be a special officer for linguistic minorities. So, linguistic minorities, in order to take care of their interest, there has to be a special officer. Okay. So, he is to be appointed by whom? He is to be appointed by President of India. So, what is the duty of this officer? He has to investigate all matters. So, he has to investigate all the matters concerning the linguistic minorities. Any issues with respect to the language, they has to, this special officer for linguistic minorities has to investigate, and he should give yearly report. Yearly report to whom? He has to give yearly report to the President, who in turn places it in front of the Parliament. Okay. So, Commissioner for Linguistic Minorities. Okay. So, Commissioner, how many commissioners are there? So, there is actually one commissioner. Special officer is one commissioner. He resides in Allahabad. His head office is in Allahabad. However, 3 regional officers are there. 3 regional officers. What are the 3 regional officers? One is in Belgaum, another is in Chennai, one more is in Kolkata. So, this is all about the Commissioner of Linguistic Minorities. Okay, under which ministry does this office belong? So, it belongs to Ministry of Minority Affairs. Ministry of Minority Affairs. This office falls under Ministry of Minority Affairs. Role of the Commissioner. What does he do? So this constitution and government provides lot of safeguards for linguistic minorities. For example, in Karnataka, Urdu is taught as a language in some schools. That is the protection given to Urdu speaking people. So constitution gives this protection, and also the government, also the parliamentary laws gives protection to linguistic minorities. When this protection is not implemented, then this person comes into picture. That is, this commissioner comes and submits a report to the government. That is, these provisions, these protections have not been implemented. They have to be implemented. So this is the role of the commissioner. Okay. So his main concern is to protect and promote the linguistic minorities. So we have Article 29 and Article 30, fundamental rights, which speaks about language, script and cultural protection. This article speaks about language, script and cultural protection. You can link Article 350 to Article 29. Okay, what is the vision and mission? What is the vision and mission? Vision, long-term goal; mission, day-to-day implementation. Okay, what is the mission? So, to strengthen the constitutional safeguards, for linguistic minorities. That is the vision. What is the mission? So, to provide equal opportunities and inclusive development. So, one more here I can talk about. UPSC conducts its exam in only English and Hindi, right? So, this is disadvantageous. So, the question, even though you can write the answers in Kannada, the question paper comes only in English and Hindi. So, it is disadvantageous for whom? It is disadvantageous for Kannada medium students. They cannot understand the question in English and Hindi. So, whom they can go and appeal? They can go and appeal to this office, saying our constitutional right is breached. Okay. Next is functions and objectives. What are the functions and objectives? Okay. So, functions: to investigate all matters relating to linguistic minorities. All matters with respect to linguistic minorities, they investigate, they submit report, yearly report to president, and also to monitor the safeguards. What are the safeguards given to linguistic minorities that are monitored? Okay. What are the objectives? What are the objectives of the office? To provide equal opportunity for linguistic minorities. That is the first objective. Second is to spread awareness about the importance of linguistic minorities and their safeguards. To spread awareness about the safeguards. Safeguards, what do you mean by safeguards? Protection available to them. To spread awareness. Adru ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಈ safeguards ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. To ensure effective implementation of safeguards. Safeguards has to be effective implemented. That is also taken care by this office. Okay. Next, we will speak about the Office of Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Comptroller and Auditor General of India. So, Comptroller and Auditor General, which is the constitutional provision? Article 148 speaks about CAG. This is called as CAG. What do? They audit the account of three categories. One is central government, state government, and also PSUs. Many PSUs accounts are audited by CAG. Okay. It is an independent office. CAG is the head of the Indian Audit and Accounts Department. Who is the head of the Audit and Account Department? It is the CAG. Okay. It is a constitutional body similar to Supreme Court, Election Commission, UPSC, Finance Commission. This body is also constitutional body. I already explained what is a constitutional body. Okay. So, appointment and term. So, who appoints it? So, CAG is appointed by the President. CAG is appointed by the president. So he has a oath. What is the oath of oath? What is the oath of CAG? The oath of CAG is similar to the oath of High Court or Supreme Court judge. Please look at the oath. Next is, what is the term? The term is either 6 years or 65 years. 6 years, 6 years of tenure or 65 years of age. Before that, they have to step down. After completing the tenure, they have to step down. So he can remove. So how the CAG can be removed? He can be removed similar to the judge of a Supreme Court or High Court. How a judge is removed. So the removal of judges I have discussed in the chapter on Supreme Court and High Court. Similarly, the CAG can be removed. So independence, how the CAG independence is ensured. One is security of tenure, 6 years, nobody can touch him, nobody can remove him from the office. So only the removal is done by the president, similar to Supreme Court judge, and that process is very, very difficult. And after he retires from the office, he cannot take up any other employment. That also ensures independence. If he can take some other employment, there will be vested interest. So he will give some favor to the government, who in turn gives favor to the person after he retires. That is why no further employment. His salary is so his salary and service conditions are determined by Parliament. His salary and service conditions are not determined. Suppose EC, election commissioners and UPSC members and election commissioners, service conditions are determined by whom? It is determined by president. However, his CAG service condition is determined by the Parliament, and his salary and service conditions cannot be reduced during his tenure. Okay. So, and also his salary is based on charged expenditure. I already told what is charged expenditure. So duties and powers. What are the duties and powers of the office of CAG? So we have CAG Act 1971. CAG Act 1971. So the duties and powers is given in Article 149 and also CAG Act 1971. So what is the duty? He audits the accounts related to Consolidated Fund of India. I already told what is Consolidated Fund of India. How much money has come, how much money has gone out of CFI. Who audits? It is the CAG. So, and also he audits Contingency Fund of India and Public Accounts of India. These funds I have discussed in the chapter of Parliament. Please go and look at the video. And also he also audits the balance sheet of central government enterprises, that is PSUs. He audits the balance sheets and accounts of the PSUs. Okay, so he also audits government companies, whoever. So for example, earlier this Mysore Sandal company and BSNL, all these were government companies. So who audits it? It is audited by the CAG. And also he audits all the transactions of state and central government. Central government and state government, all the transactions are audited by whom? It is audited by the CAG. Okay. So he advises to the president. So he gives timely advice to the president with respect to how the accounts have to be kept. So central government, just like you maintain your account, central government also maintains its account. How this account has to be maintained? Who gives suggestion? It is the CAG. He gives suggestion. He or she gives suggestion. So he submits the report. Report to whom? Central report, central government audit report to president, state government audit report to governor. Okay. So all your 2G scam, poll scam, and all these scams were brought into limelight by which office? It is the office of CAG. Okay. So he acts as a friend and philosopher of Public Accounts Committee. Public Accounts Committee headed by opposition party. They audit the how money is spent by the government. So in order to Public Account Committee who assists the Public Account Committee in its day-to-day work, it is the office of CAG. CAG assists the Public Account Committee in order to monitor the expenditure of state and central government. Okay. So these are the broad functions of duties and powers of the CAG. So what is the role of CAG? So in order to maintain public property, I mean financial propriety. So suppose say your father gives money to your mother. So she maintains a proper account of every rupee spent. Likewise, Parliament gives money to government. So who maintains the account? It is the account is maintained by Department of Accounts. So earlier it was the CAG who was maintaining the accounts. However, later it was transferred to Ministry of Finance, Department of Accounts. So whether the money has been properly spent, that is being monitored by whom? That is monitored by CAG. Whether each rupee is spent properly is monitored by whom? It is monitored by CAG. So this is the major role of CAG. Okay. So there is one limitation. So all your armed forces, that is Army, Navy, Air Force, their expenditure cannot be audited by the CAG. The CAG can only go by what the head of the organization says. That is, Army chiefs gives a report saying all the money has been spent according to the constitution. They have to get satisfied by that statement. They cannot audit the account of Army, Navy, Air Force. So this is one of the limitations. Okay. So what they ascertain? They ascertain whether the money is legally available to the cause. That is, suppose 100 crore is accorded to Manrega. So if they spend 100 crore, suppose they spend 110 crore. So then the money is not legally available to Manrega. Extra money has been spent, or they spent some other 90 crore. 90 crore that is legally available. 110 crore exceeds spending. It is not legally available. That has been spent from some other source. Or the money 100 crore is which is allotted to Manrega. 50 crore is involved in corruption. 50 crore is taken out in corruption. That is also audited by CAG. That is why all these scams came out. Next, CAG and corporations. What does the CAG do with respect to corporations? I already told certain PSUs, certain public sector undertakings are audited by CAG. So some corporation, Damodar Valley Corporation, ONGC, Air India are audited by whom? They are audited by CAG. So also some organizations, that is Damodar Valley Corporation, ONGC, these are audited directly by CAG. However, this SBI, LIC are audited by private auditors. They are audited by private auditors. So these private auditors give a report to CAG. So the CAG can either accept a report or it can conduct its own audit. This is the difference with respect to the audit of public sector enterprises. So last we will discuss about criticism. Major criticism is this CAG office does a post-mortem kind of a work. So what is post-mortem? You already know. Once the expenditure is already done, that is 100 crores is already spent, then after the money is spent, they go and audit it. They go and search what has gone wrong. However, what critics say is they have to ensure that before spending only the money has to be spent properly. So before spending only the money has to be spent in a proper way. That has to be ensured, not after the money is spent, but before the money is spent. That has to be ensured. And also CAG is a colonial legacy. We have inherited CAG from colonial rule. Okay. Next is CAG function is greatly exaggerated. That is also a criticism. So these are some of the criticisms. So the CAG, because of CAG fear, the departments of the government do not spend the money. Suppose 100 crore is 100 or 1000 crore is given to a department. They fear the spending of money. What if the CAG finds some fault? Because of that fear, they don't do judicious spending. So because of the fear of CAG, there is no effective spending of money. That is also there. Also, CAG work is interfering in the government work. So every time CAG comes, asks the government, well, how have you spent the money? That creates disturbance in the governmental functioning. These are certain criticism of the office of CAG. Next class we will discuss non-constitutional bodies. 2 topics are left: Attorney General of India and Advocate General of India. We will discuss it in next class. Hope you found the class useful. Please make good use of it, because I am covering the entire general studies syllabus. For within 2 months you can use it as a revision course. Thank you. Have a great day. Take care of yourself. Jai Hind. Namaste.